Hello, it's me. Today is March 7th, 2024, and it's my birthday. I'm turning 19 today. And for me, personally, that brings up a lot of thoughts about death and anxiety and what my life actually means and how far I am from where I started and um, yeah, a lot of scary shit like that. And this year, luckily, I already went through that, so I don't have to be feeling all that stuff on my actual birthday. But I did want to share some of the stuff that helped me get through it this year because I know for a lot of people, I just know I can't be the only one. So whether it's your birthday or close to your birthday or not even close and you're thinking about death or life or the meaning of it all, I just want to talk about things and talk about some things that help me think about things. I recorded this whole video last night. I recorded an hour of it last night. So about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Will it go? Oh, there you go. 12. 12. Happy birthday. And it was kind of all over the place. And I didn't construct what I wanted to say well at all. And it didn't even though it came across, it took way too long and it was boring and hard to watch. But if you want to watch that, I can post that too because it's much more in the moment thoughts than this one's going to be because this one is supposed to be very like, here's everything I learned from doing that. Okay, so number one, death. Is it important? Do you have to think about it? No, it's the least important thing ever, of all time. It just is. Least important thing you could be thinking about right now. Think about procrastination, all right? Real quick, just an example. You got homework due in a week. You got a project due in a month. Whatever it is. Are you gonna be realistic here? I don't know what type of people you are, but for me, are you really gonna work on that project until the actual day of, or like the 2 days before the month one ends? Like, are you actually gonna do that? No. No, you're gonna work on it those last 2 days. I don't know if I said all that right, but you're gonna work on it those last 2 days. You're gonna only think about it those last 2 days because you freaking, dude, you have so much time. And that's, I think, a lot of my thoughts around death. I forget that, and I think a lot of the way I calm myself down is like, I have so much life left to live. There's no reason to be thinking about this right now. And then I get worried, like, when I'm like 50, 60, 70, 80, like, what if that's the same thing? But or what if that changes, because I won't have a lot of life left to live. So it'll be harder to calm my brain. So I'm preparing for the future in a way. But there's no way to prepare for death. There's no reason. There's no need to prepare for death. It's something that's just going to happen at some point. I don't have to write an essay. I don't have to do anything like that to prepare for death other than doing your will and stuff. But that's, I don't know, that's different. I think, like, there's no reason to think about and quote unquote mentally prepare for death because there's just no way to. You just can't. Plus, you don't know if you're going to die in 80 years or tomorrow. There's no way to prepare when you don't have an exact date. So it's safe to assume you have a date much later in your life, and it's safe to assume you don't have to do anything to prepare for that day. So don't stress about that if you're my age, or even if you're like 50, 60, having a midlife crisis. I know I'm only 19, and I know a lot of my advice and stuff isn't going to mean a lot to you, but take that as you will. I think it's important to know that there's still so much left for you and for me and for anyone. There's still so much left. A whole day is so much left. It really is, because I don't know. You know how long a day is? I'm making this right now in probably 30 minutes or an hour. And there's 24 of those in a day. Even if I have a day left, I can still do this much. I can still make this thing and put it out there and contribute to the world. So don't worry about that, especially if you have thousands potentially of days, tens of thousands of days left. There's just no reason to feel that dread all the time. You're robbing yourself of precious minutes you could be spending enjoying your time alive. The other things, if you're worried about the actual feeling of death, how it's going to feel, no reason to worry about that. First of all, you're probably not going to feel it. Most cases of death, you're not going to know you died. So feeling your like actually feeling death, if you're terrified of that, don't be. You know, who knows how it feels? No one knows how it feels. Even if it feels painful, it's gonna feel as painful as like hurting yourself on any other normal day. It's just, I don't know. Your brain goes into survival mode for like small things and big things. It's not gonna feel much different. It's not gonna completely change everything. So don't worry about that. You know, if you're worried about like the gripping cold hand of death, like blah, 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 like don't. You know, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna feel it one day, you're gonna feel it, and there's nothing you can do to prepare for that. So don't waste your brain space. All right, just don't. And then if you're worried about what happens after death, don't worry about that because you're gonna find out. You know, I think believe whatever you want to about that. I think you should. I think honestly, this is my advice for that. Okay, believe whatever works for you. And believe it with your whole heart. Have faith. Because, seriously, like, if the scientists are right, they say when you die, like, people who have died and been resuscitated, those stories of, like, oh, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I saw the pearly gates. Since those are things that we think about we're going to see, that's what we see. So if you believe with your whole heart, whatever, like, heaven, hell, whatever, reincarnation, whatever you believe is what you're going to feel and see. That's what your afterlife is going to be. It's just, if science is right. And if science isn't right, whatever you believe is going to be close to whatever's true. I mean, all the I don't know. If scientists aren't right and there is just a system, whether you believe and have a full faith in that system on Earth or not, you're still going to do well in that system as long as you're a good, normal person. You're going to do well in that system because I don't think a lot of religions judge off if you're part of that religion or if you're just moral and good and contribute well on Earth. I think that's usually the status quo is like if you're contributing and working hard and being a good person, you're going to do better in your next life or afterlife. That's the general idea of religion. So just be a good person, you know, and believe whatever you want to believe and you're going to be fine. Don't worry about that. Please, seriously, it's a waste of time. You're not going to know. No one knows, you know? I think the distractions on Earth from death are important enough. I think me making this video to maybe potentially help someone out there is just as important as whatever's out there in the afterlife that I'm quote unquote preparing for. I think my actions on Earth matter a lot. I think helping other people matters a lot. I think there's a certain amount of good and joy and morality and there's enough forces at play there that makes that a much bigger action than how it actually looks if you're an alien looking down on Earth, you know? I think the effect that has can be so much bigger than you or us or humanity as a whole. I think it's a big, beautiful thing. So lock in, you know? Do good things. Be a good person. Have fun. Because why wouldn't you, you know? If you're placed in a prison cell and you have all these fun things around you, you have all this really good space, all these things to do, all these things that are interesting. Maybe you're in there with other prisoners. Who knows? And there's so many ways to distract yourself from the fact you're in prison. Why would you focus on trying to escape the prison? You're not gonna. You're just not gonna. You aren't going to escape. And that's comforting because that means you don't have to focus on escaping. You just don't. You can focus on the distractions without that little like twinge at the back of your brain saying, but what if there's a way out? What if there's a way out? Don't you want to see the way out? And if you're with death, you don't have to focus on, oh, what if there's a way to escape it? What if there's something I can be doing to get rid of that? Do you know how much worse it would be if death was escapable, but only if you do these exact right things? Do you know how annoying that would be? Do you know how bad you would feel if you messed up? That would be dread. That would be worth focusing on. And it's a good thing we don't have to focus on that. So appreciate that. Appreciate the people around you. Appreciate the world we have to explore. Appreciate every other animal on Earth we can look at and enjoy. Appreciate all the plants, the trees, the ground, the rocks. Appreciate everything, man. I mean, there's so much cool stuff out here. Like, why would we focus on the very last instant, the very end of our life? Why would we focus on that when we could be focusing on everything we have ahead of us, everything we have right in front of us? You know? Don't do that. Last thing I want to warn about is thinking of life as a timeline. If you're like, oh my god, I've already lived this much of my life, and it felt so short. Like, imagine like the rest of it's gonna feel so short. No, your brain doesn't know how to comprehend time. If you look back on your, for me it's 19 years. If I look back on my 19 years, they're compressed, they're tiny. Probably like an hour of footage from the entire time I've lived still exists in my head, and it's broken up and foggy and wrong. That is not an accurate vision of time. If I could go back and relive day by day my life, it would be very, 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 very long. Days are very, very, very long. So do that. Do that in the moment, right now. Enjoy, like, focus on each day. Because that's a very real way to extend time in your brain. Another tip is diarying. That'll make your life feel much longer. Journaling, diarying, whatever. Writing in a diary. Not, number 2, but grosser. Writing in a diary. Because that's like taking notes on every day. You're going to remember more things. You can look back and relive those moments better and more accurately. You can see physically how long life is. You can physically see thousands of pages detailing your life, and it would probably only be a year or a month. Who knows? I don't know how much you write, but there's a lot of information we get all the time, and that's what matters for time. So don't stress about the length of life, because we can't actually tell what the length of life is. Depending on how you look at it, I'm either a fifth of the way through life, and that fifth was so short, so the rest of it's going to be short, or there's tens of thousands of days left in my life. There's so much left. I cannot even think about what being 30 is gonna be like. I have no idea. What's having a kid gonna be like? There's so much ahead of me. What's being out of school gonna be like? I'm not even there yet. Like, I don't know. Don't worry about all that, okay? Seriously. High school felt like an entire lifetime, and now that I'm out of it, it feels like a millisecond. So, please, don't stress about that. If you're using your brain as a time gauge, you're wrong. Don't. Okay? And I think that is most of what I wanted to talk about. I think I covered everything. I mean, yeah, just don't worry about death too much, please, because it's just, there's no reason to. Yeah, that's my episode for today. Just wanted to talk about little solutions for all those things, because I know how hard it is to live with those thoughts sometimes. Yeah. So, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you got anything out of that. I would love to know. Let me know if you have any opinions of your own. Let me know what your religion says about death. Let me know how you feel about that. I want to know everything. This is an open discussion, and I want to hear how you feel. Please be respectful towards everyone in the comments. Everyone's sharing their opinions, their outlooks, and they are all valid. We're all just trying to get through life, thinking in a way that helps us get through life. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.